Okay, good morning. This is Servium calling once again. Welcome to the next in our series of our INOOT webinar series. I need one of those. My name is Steve Dawes. I'm the Services Director. And today I'm your presenter and your host today. So welcome and thank you for taking the time out to join us. So the purpose of our webinar series really is to keep you as our customers informed of what's happening in the marketplace, what's groundbreaking, what new technologies are out there. And we've had a number of these webinars now, probably about 15 or so that have been really, really successful. So thank you for your continued support. Hopefully everyone who's registered early have got their crunchy bars. So it's Friday, 10 o'clock, put your feet up, grab a coffee. We have had some late registrations, so for those who have just registered late on yesterday and this morning, you will get a crunchy bar, but obviously not in time, so enjoy it next week. So we will take questions and answers at the end. There'll also be a poll as well, and today really using Zoom, we're focusing very much on the services that Servium provide. So we've done a number of webinars now around a lot of the key vendors in the marketplace, the likes of HPE, Microsoft, Zoom, focusing on technological areas such as data center, security, end user computing, and so on. But I think the key thing for us is that this is what underpins all the vendors that we work with. But before I kick off, I think it's important on this day, 16th of August, to look back in history and see what's been happening. So, 1966, everyone remembers Frank Sinatra, but he got divorced from his third wife, Mia Farrow, after only 2 years of marriage. 77, the King died, Elvis Presley, aged 42. He was discovered slumped in a bathroom of his mansion in Memphis, Tennessee. From an IT perspective, quite interesting, in 1988, IBM introduced software for artificial intelligence. So how has that changed the way we view IT? 2003, Idi Amin, the notorious former Uganda dictator, died in a Saudi Arabian hospital. And likewise, in 2003, Cristiano Ronaldo, when he was 18, made his debut for Manchester United in the Premier League in a 4-0 home victory against Bolton Wanderers. So that's the day in history, but more importantly, these Fridays are INOOT Fridays. So today it's all about our services. So I just want to give a little bit of background on who we are, what we're all about, because I think it's quite relevant to how services fit within the whole Servium proposition and Pathfinder. But ultimately, we are a value-added reseller that step in your shoes and basically take care of what we do and how we support you. And the value we create happens in many ways. You know, we like to walk in your shoes. We want to give good customer service, and it's all about understanding what your challenges are. And the way we do that is sort of based around what we call our Servium Pathfinder. So we focus on what is essential IT, the sort of day-to-day stuff, business solutions, sort of more significant elements of what your challenge is. And then where does that need fit? Is it fit in a particular area? And all our webinars have been focused around specific areas around compute, data, networking, security, and workspace. And what is the technology? I think the key thing for us is that we will lead with the technology, not the vendor. And we can say this today because there's no vendors involved. So that vendor agnostic approach is important in everything we do, but particularly around established technologies and some of the emerging technologies that, again, we've talked about on these past webinars. There's a lot of talk about what environment does that fit in. Is it physical, virtual, the clouds, public, private, hybrid? But what we're seeing is that a lot of environments now are typically under the hybrid cloud environment. But our role is to help you on that journey and help you make educated decisions. And then our approach really around your challenge is very much a life cycle approach. No matter how small or large that particular business challenge is, from the strategy design, implement, support, and the key thing for is review everything we do. So presentation, how did that go? Was it on time? Was it with our customers? And the other thing that we're really proud of is CSAT surveys. It's great to get feedback. And again, at the end of this webinar, there is a poll to get feedback from you all, because if we're going to improve, then we need to understand, where we're doing things well for our customers. So the great thing for us is that 100% of our customers would recommend us to the colleagues and other organisations. So again, something we're really proud of. But today, I'm going to talk about, as a services director, really a bit more about everything that underpins, or what underpins everything that we do is our ecosystem, and it's all about bringing sort of excellence within the industry around the services that we provide. We've used our experience in the business to develop this. There's a lot of experience across the management team and the entire account management team as well that's helped develop and also evolve the ecosystem over the years. So what is it that makes it different really for us? And if you look at the breadth of what we've got, there's a lot of resource that is available for you as our customers to access. A lot of skills, a lot of know-how, a lot of expertise, a lot of subject matter expertise really that is available. And the key thing is that it is scalable. No matter how small or large the requirement is, the scalability of what we offer is key as well. I think as well, transparency. We're no different to everyone else in the industry. I've worked in the industry now a lot of years, and transparency is key for us. We'll tell you who we're using and why we're using them. So partner transparency is key. And then the value that we bring, again, around the products and the brands and so on. But again, from a services point of view, we're very much vendor agnostic as well. We'll lead with the technology rather than the vendor. So the breadth, depth of what is available to you as our customers, we believe is second to none. We believe it's best of breed as well in the marketplace. But I think, say, the transparency is what makes us stand out from the crowd. We'll tell you who we're using and why. And the key thing for us is playing our partners to their areas of expertise. What is their specific areas of knowledge and skills, and utilising that specifically. So there's a lot of services that we can offer. And I'm going to talk about some references and some case studies later in the presentation. But it's a whole raft of capabilities that you can access. And on the graphic there on the screen, you can see that what the sort of breadth and depth is that is available. So there's very little that we can't do, but if it is outside our capabilities, we'll be honest and transparent with you on the reasons why. So whatever the project is, we put that as your challenge, but a lot of customers now talk about business outcome. What is it you're trying to achieve as part of that particular project or particular requirement? So your challenge, your business outcome, what is it? So working with you throughout the life cycle, again, similar to our value proposition, it's working with the industry experts from an initial sort of scoping, understanding, and doing sort of high level interaction, so that subject matter experts understand, what is it you're trying to achieve from a challenge business outcome. Then working on design, using the best architects, technologists, and so on to do a high level, low level design. And then the key thing is that the people that are working on the initial workshops, design, and strategy is all around the same that we'll use for implementation. So it's consistent of resource, and those consultants are consistent throughout. And the engineers and the technicians that we use, we believe are top of the game. Once we've implemented, support is key as well. So we don't just sort of fire and forget. We make sure that everything is properly documented, things are handed over correctly, but also it's a collaborative approach as well from our perspective. You know, we will work with you and your in-house IT teams to make sure that the skills transfer happen as well, so that once we've finished and we actually then walk away and you're running on your own, you have the expertise, you have the documentation, but you also have us to call on if needed. And then, as I said, the whole project review cycle is really important as well, whether it's a simple engagement, one day, or a more longer term project that might be over many months. The review process is absolutely key. So we have partners. Like I say, it's no different to anyone else in the marketplace, but partner selection for us is, you know, absolutely key to the success, if you like, of our ecosystem and so on. So again, it's finding the right subject matter expertise, and we scour the market out, and part of my role is constantly looking for new areas, new technologies that we can provide services around. So working in the marketplace, understanding, you know, what customers need. The due diligence is a key part of onboarding any partner, from a commercial perspective, from non-disclosures, from customer references, from vendor references. That is really key. And even simple things down to, I'll visit the site of our partners to make sure that it's, you know, they are who they say they are. And sort of tied into that as well is the culture. There's got to be a good culture fit between Servium, and we believe we provide exceptional service. We go the extra mile. We want our partners to do the same, because they're representing Servium with the new as our customers. So the cultural fit is really, really key as well, that we can have a good working relationship, and those relationships are at multi-level, typically from MD, CEO, down to day-to-day account management. We take the ownership as well, so we will underwrite the competence of our partners. So we are that sort of single point of contact at any point of a project. Something that I think is really important to us as well, as part of maintaining our partner relationships, is something that is a Japanese methodology called Kaizen. It's a process of ongoing and improvements. So we have a rigorous review process with our partners to make sure they are delivering to our expectations and beyond expectations on many occasions. So we have a marking and scoring mechanism to help them improve and give them positive feedback as well. And one of the key scoring criteria is going the extra mile. That's where I like partners to evidence what they have done to go the extra mile with our customers. So that ongoing improvement, Kaizen, is a way of keeping our partners on the toes, but making sure that complacency doesn't set in. And then we've got to make sure that the ecosystem keeps pace with technology. There's a lot of things that are happening in the marketplace around things like intelligent automation, RPA, security. So we want to make sure that our ecosystem keeps pace, and that's part of the ongoing sort of scouring the market to make sure that that we find the right partner. So that agility of the ecosystem as well is something that makes it different. So what are the benefits to you really as the customers? Challenge is paramount. You know, what is your challenge? What are you facing on a day-to-day basis? And then we will do the running around. You come to us with a challenge, a requirement, something that you need. We will then go out within our ecosystem, reach out, and basically do everything on your behalf. As I previously mentioned, the vendor agnostic approach is really, really key for us. We will lead with the technology, whatever that technology is. So vendor agnostic every time we approach a particular project. And we aim to have one partner that has all the skills you need, i.e. us. It's very little that we can't do. So we can be that reference point. And we have the confidence on projects we've delivered. We've done some complex projects, some simple projects, but we have a lot of confidence within our ecosystem, within our partners. And I think that comes over, from us as a business when we talk to our customers. But the sort of flexible access in commercials is absolutely key, because having a limited number of partners means that we can offer good commercial terms without compromising service delivery. And I think that's absolutely key. The partners that we work with typically only work with value-added resellers such as ourselves. So having good commercials, making sure things do stack up financially is important as well, because everyone has a budget to hit. So that's why in essence, we built our ecosystem. It's everything that you need for any project, no matter how small, how large. But again, we can do it efficiently, confidently, economically, and we do that on every project we deliver. So I just want to give you some examples now of where we have delivered benefits to our customers around some specific projects. And these ones I think are quite relevant because it highlights some of the benefits of the whole ecosystem. So this one in particular was a really urgent requirement from the customer around quality service, Skype for Business, and so on and so forth. And the customer just was really tearing the hair out trying to resolve this issue internally. So they came to one of our account managers and highlighted the issue to us and the urgency of it. I think for me on this particular project, the speed of engagement was key. That sort of whole agility and being able to get the right resource on time, on site for the customer. So it ended up in a successful migration. The experience for the customer and their end users was much better. But I think, like I say, the speed of engagement on this particular requirement was key in the success. So this was quite an interesting one where it was actually something that came up just in a conversation with the account manager around a specific area around something called RBM Big Fix. And the customer had inherited an IT team. It was having a major impact that they were struggling to find the right skill sets. So we actually didn't have any sort of real knowledge around RBM Big Fix. It's in essence RBM's equivalent to Microsoft SCCM. But we had a partner who could deliver this. So again, showing the breadth and depth of this particular, this need here. There's something that fell outside what would be a typical skill set within Servium, even though we are a big part of IBM's. So we managed to fulfill this, find the right partner to deliver the consultancy. It was a short-term 20-day project, but we were able to respond again very quickly using the agility of the ecosystem. But that, again, breadth and depth of knowledge helped take the pain away for this particular customer. So again, I think this particular one for me was around filling the sort of skills gap from the client and having, again, some real high-level expertise around RBM and SQL, around legacy systems. So, very complex environments. We had no historic knowledge of it. In-house resource had sort of moved on, left a gap. So we were there really to fill that skills gap. But being able to then engage, we produced a very, very detailed report on our findings. And this was mission critical, business critical applications that you can imagine in a sort of a retail environment where sort of response times and so on are key. So having the expertise around RBM, around SQL, and so on helped us fulfill that quite efficiently And again, getting the right resource on time delivered tremendous value to this particular customer. The final one really is again around a complex requirement, but utilising two partners. So highlighting the need to playing partners to the strength. So we were, again, the reference point, the single point of contact within this particular need here, but it was a major project that required data center skills. It required skills around core networks and so on. So having the expertise, going to one service partner, being able to do this would have been virtually impossible. So having two partners engaged with using their subject matter expertise, again, meant that playing them to their strengths delivered the tremendous benefits to the customer. So the knowledge, the skills, and leveraging that within the ecosystem saved the customer a lot of time and money. So to sort of summarize, really, it's, you know, if you look at the IT marketplace today, it's all complex. It's never been more complex, sort of from a day-to-day perspective. And again, we talk about, is it on-prem, is it hybrid cloud, multi-cloud, and so on. Again, this just adds to sort of confusing. So planning for the future is very difficult. You know, having the skills in-house is not always possible, whether it's short, medium, or long term. So again, for Servium, having the partners that have that agility, flexibility, and capability is key. Sometimes for you as customers, skilling up short term it's just not practical. Why would you take on a full-time employee for a short-term project? So it's about then realizing the value of the sort of agility and speed to market of Servium's ecosystem. But getting the project right first time is absolutely key, no matter what element of our services that we're delivering. Getting it right first time means it's going to be more cost effective and it's going to hit your budget and timescales. So you don't have the need to assemble the right people. We've got that, we believe, within our ecosystem. But as I mentioned before, it's continually evolving and changing in line with the marketplace. And it will never stand still. So that's, you know, from our perspective, that's another key differentiator. So that's sort of gives you an overview of sort of high level of the ecosystem. I think for me, it underpins everything that we do in the business, all the vendors that we work with, all the partners that we work with, all the technologies we've talked about on these webinars, and will continue to do so. The ecosystem is there really to fulfill and support those requirements. So now, if you'd like to take take some questions now from the audience, and specifically around the ecosystem. Happy to answer those now for you. And there's one a couple just come in actually here. So from Alan, how do you ensure that your ecosystem partners continue to perform? Well, I think, as I mentioned earlier, the key thing for us is around the ongoing review, that sort of Kaizen methodology. So we don't want partners to just sort of get complacent and so on. That review process is a way of giving positive feedback to our partners. So hopefully that answers that for you, Alan. Question from Josh. What if the need is something that can't be delivered from the ecosystem as it stands? Well, I think the IBM Big Fix example is a good example of how we found something within our ecosystem that we weren't even aware of, but the customer came to us with that specific need, and we were able to fulfill it. However, I would say that if we are unable to do something because it's not core, then we will be honest and upfront and won't waste your time. I've got a question from Ian. Who's my point of contact at Servium once I engage from a service perspective? So your account manager is always going to be your point of contact whatever the size and scale of the project. So you'll always go to your account manager. I am always there as an escalation point. As I said, with our partners, we've got relationships all the way up to sort of MD, CEO level. So we have an escalation point if anything doesn't go to plan. But I'll always be involved behind the scenes, supporting the account manager and making sure that the partner is delivering. Then I will then form the review process at the end of the project. A question from Colin, and I think I might have covered this before, but in relation to resource that we provide, does it always come from one partner? How do you mix and match? Well, that data center core network migration was two partners, and I think Colin, to sort of come back on it's all about playing the partners to the strength, understanding what their strengths are, therefore what the weaknesses are, where do they have the skills, the technologists, the architects around that particular subject matter expertise. So if we need to engage two partners, then we will. But again, going back to Ian's question, we will always be that single point of contact and coordinate all the resource. And I've got, I think, final question from Sean. What happens if an encounter a problem during a project? Well, again, we have an escalation route with all our partners, as I mentioned before. So we are always going to have a point of contact. If it doesn't go to plan, we will make sure that that we will escalate it. We'll get it resolved. But I think the key thing as well that lessons are learned if mistakes are made. And to be honest, mistakes do happen. We're all human beings, so from that perspective, we will always look to learn and to make sure we don't make those mistakes again. Okay, so if there's no more questions, I can't see any more coming in. I'd like to sort of launch a poll now, just while I sort of summarise and close. And this is really just to get some feedback from you all in relation to this webinar and future webinars. And we always say to customers, if there's anything specific you'd like us to cover, then please, by all means, get in touch with your account manager, get in touch with me, and we're always, looking for content. We've built out the sort of next sort of few months of INOOT webinars. You'll see them published on our INOOT hub on our website. So from that perspective, getting your feedback is really, really important to just, again, help us learn, help us improve these as we move forward. Like I say, this is about number 16 now. So, and we do learn every time we deliver one of these webinars. So if you wouldn't mind sort of completing the poll, I'd really appreciate that. So the call to action really is, if any of this sort of resonates with you, anything of interest, and you'd like to know a little bit more, this has been really, really sort of high level, given the opportunity to tell you about it. But if any of you are interested, I'm more than happy to come out, have a face-to-face meeting with yourselves, and come along with the account manager, just talk about a bit more detail. If there's any specific projects that you've got, again, no matter small, how large, then happy to come out and talk about those. And again, maybe go into more detail on where we've delivered similar projects for customers in the past, because we've got, I had about 50 case study references that I could have talked about this morning. I just wanted to pick the most valid ones for today. But there's a lot of experience that we can come and talk to you about, and take away the pain, if you like, and help you with that challenge, which is at the centre of everything we do. There will be a recording of this webinar, so for everyone's here today, we'll send a link to the recording. But also we'll publish this on our YouTube channel. So again, encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And there's a lot of content there from previous INOOT webinars as well. So again, feel free to subscribe to that. So thank you for taking the time out today. I hope you've all enjoyed your crunchies. I'm going to get mine in a minute, I think. So the next webinar is on the 30th of August, 2 weeks' time. And we're partnering with Dell around their live optics proposition. And just sort of high level, it's software that's is used to collect, visualize, and share data about your IT environment, sort of workloads, and providing sort of data analysis to help sort of understand the capacity and performance of your environment. So we're partnering with Dell for that one in 2 weeks' time. So if you're interested, please register. We've already got a number of people registered for that. But again, details of that on our website, on our INOOT hub. So that's the 30th of August in 2 weeks' time. So that's it from me. Thank you for joining today. Hopefully you found it useful, and enjoy the rest of your Friday. Thank you, everyone.